I think video puts it beyond a reasonable doubt as far as I'm concerned, and we see her actually doing it. Her argument is she's immune from prosecution.
Yeah, that's not true when you break the law. I don't think you're immune from prosecution when you're a judge who's... Now, what's amazing about this, too, is he was in court on domestic violence charges, and the victims, waiting for their own justice, just sat there and watched as he was walked out of court through the jury door, non-public door. And then, like the video shows, you had an agent going down in the elevator with him. And then they actually had to engage in a foot chase. So she put law enforcement at danger as well.
What's going on in this country right now? Right. So with stories like this, the lawlessness has reached the highest levels of state governments, the federal government with the Biden DOJ going after people. This is just another example of the lawlessness. James, you were targeted by the Biden DOJ. And then what happens? I think you won in the end, or how did that
Well, since I was on your show last, the FBI dropped the case in February, March or so. They gave me back my phones, but they released the affidavit, the probable cause. That was when you get a search warrant, you have to release the probable cause. They redacted every single word of the probable cause. It's a big black lines. And so, I think what's happening is institutions have become systemically corrupt at all levels. And people say, call Cash, call Pam. It's like I'm supposed to call the number one person at the top of the entire pyramid to have any semblance of justice. That's how you know the system's really broken, when everyone's solution is to do that.
And I think people need to understand that even if Cash, Pam, or Dan are at the top, they're still looking down at this entire field of corruption.
Of bureaucracy and corruption.
Absolutely. And so the corruption's entrenched, and we'll utilize the bureaucracy to make sure that they don't have to move.
Correct. And even if you're an incredibly ethical and moral leader, you can't be on top of that entrenched bureaucracy and corruption. But this is great because you have her on video. This is what we talk about at O'Keefe Media Group. Incontrovertible evidence, not circumstantial evidence or hearsay, but she's actually on video doing it.
Right. So, I was obviously out for the past few days, but I was still following the news, of course. And then I'm riding in a car when I hear about these Israeli staffers who were shot and killed. And the story that's since come out with the details is substantially worse than the initial reporting, right? That the guy, as the young woman is crawling away to try and escape, he's shooting her. Then he reloads while screaming.
He reloads and keeps shooting her.
Yeah. And, to me, it feels like, just Jesse Waters called it Summer of Love 2.0 already because of the amount of violence we've already had. It's not even summer yet. And we've had, with the Tesla fire bombs, we had, to be fair, the assassination was last year. But still, since Trump got reelected, we've had street violence, protests, Tesla attacks. We've got now these two assassinations. We have members of the judiciary violating the law. If these institutions are systemically corrupt, like what happens in the next 10 years?
Well, this is the Democrat playbook, really, when you stop and think about it. They always say no one is above the law until they're not. When the shoe's on the other foot.
Until it's them?
Yeah, exactly. Until it's them. And this is the Democrat playbook now. They are going to literally use the textbook definition of terrorism, which is the unlawful use of violence to intimidate or harass, typically for political gain. That's what they're doing. It's very easy to see, but it's ridiculous the hoops that they jump through to try to justify their behavior. And they will go to bat for these individuals. They went to bat for Luigi Mangione. They go to bat for so many of the worst in their own side, and then wonder why they begin to start hemorrhaging that public support.
Well, for now, I mean, it feels like, just for people who are wondering where I was the past few days, I was actually in LA hanging out with Bill Maher. Actually, just hanging out for a couple hours. Flew out. It's nuts flying to LA. So it's one whole day to get there because you lose hours. I land, I go to bed. Then I wake up and we get ready, basically just do nothing for a few hours to get ready. And then in the evening we do the show, and then I immediately fly back and it's a whole another day. But, talking with him about these things, the one thing that he agreed with me, and I guess the episode's coming out on the weekend, I don't know when, is that the only, I've said this quite a bit, what makes you left or right is not what policies you want, but what you believe is true, to which he agreed. And he obviously thinks things that are not true, in my opinion, and I told him that. And, he was all right. It was cool. It wasn't super contentious. But the issue that I see is, as this hyperpolarization continues, You've got judges who believe they're justified in going after people because those people are evil. You've got, James, you are the example I use when it comes to media like Wikipedia in fabricating reality to attack someone on ideological grounds. And in 10 years, the boomers who are more chill and like, we don't want to fight, and they're largely the people who have the view like, no one wants to fight. There's not going to be any conflicts. Not going to happen. The younger generations are like Hassan, watching Hassan Piker, who, gets as close as you can to calls for violence without directly telling people to do it. And now we can see what happens when that culture and that rhetoric expands. Is it going to stop?
Well, we did have in 2020, there wasn't that much gun violence. There were 2 teenagers shot in the autonomous zone. There was Aaron Danielson shot in Seattle by the Antifa guy, Michael Reinl. There was another gentleman who actually shot himself. There was David Dorn, who was killed. There were 31 people killed altogether in violence that summer. But we didn't see, other than Aaron Danielson, we didn't see like direct execution style shooting, I think. So that is a new development in the leftist playbook.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.